High in the desolate heart of the Andes Mountains, a tale of unimaginable human resilience unfolded. This is a story that has been etched into the annals of history, a testament to the indomitable will of the human spirit, a tale of survival against impossible odds, where every moment was a battle for life. On October 13, 1972, Uruguayan Air Force Flight 571, carrying a rugby team and their supporters, crashed into a remote, icy wilderness. The crash site was an unforgiving expanse of snow and ice, far from any hope of immediate rescue. Stranded at an altitude of over 12,000 feet, the survivors faced a brutal test of their physical and mental limits. The thin air made breathing difficult, and the freezing temperatures threatened to sap their strength and willpower. For 72 harrowing days, they battled relentless cold, gnawing hunger, and the despair of isolation. They had to find ways to stay warm, to find food in a barren landscape, and to keep hope alive in the face of overwhelming odds. Yet, amidst the unforgiving grip of the Andes, the human spirit refused to be extinguished. Their story is one of courage, ingenuity, and the unyielding will to survive, a powerful reminder of what humans can endure and overcome when pushed to their absolute limits. The passengers aboard Flight 571 were a diverse group united by a common passion for rugby. They came from different walks of life, each bringing their own unique stories and experiences to this journey. The Stella Maris College Old Boys rugby team, along with their families and friends, embarked on a journey to Chile. This trip was more than just a game. It was a chance to bond, to challenge themselves, and to create memories that would last a lifetime. Their destination was a match against their Chilean counterparts. The team had trained hard for this moment, and they were eager to showcase their skills on an international stage. Excitement and anticipation filled the air as players, coaches, and supporters settled into their seats, eager for the adventure ahead. The camaraderie among the group was palpable, with laughter and conversations echoing through the cabin. Among them were Nando Parado, a charismatic young man with an unwavering spirit, whose leadership qualities were evident to all who knew him, and Roberto Canessa, a medical student whose knowledge would prove invaluable in the days to come. His dedication to his studies and his compassionate nature made him a trusted friend and teammate. Together, they were part of a team bound for glory, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. As the Fairchild FH-227D turboprop aircraft climbed into the sky, the passengers marveled at the breathtaking scenery below. The snow-capped peaks of the Andes, piercing the clouds, painted a majestic backdrop against the azure sky. Laughter and conversation filled the cabin as friends and families shared stories and dreams. The excitement of the upcoming match, coupled with the sheer beauty of their surroundings, created an atmosphere of joyous anticipation. Little did they know that this sense of adventure would soon give way to unimaginable terror. Unbeknownst to the passengers, a storm was brewing over the Andes. As the plane approached the treacherous mountain range, the weather took a turn for the worse. Thick clouds enveloped the aircraft, obscuring the peaks that loomed ahead. Turbulence shook the cabin, rattling the nerves of those on board. The pilots, facing deteriorating visibility and strong winds, struggled to maintain control of the plane. Despite the increasingly perilous conditions, they pressed on, hoping to navigate through the storm and reach their destination. Section 5. A fateful encounter with the mountain. The plane, buffeted by fierce winds and shrouded in dense fog, flew blindly towards the heart of the Andes. The weather was relentless, with the storm clouds swirling menacingly around the aircraft, making navigation nearly impossible. The passengers, unaware of the impending danger, clung to their seats as the turbulence grew more violent. The pilots, their vision obscured by the storm, made a fatal miscalculation. They were seasoned aviators, but the ferocity of the storm was unlike anything they had ever encountered. Instruments flickered, and the altimeter readings became unreliable, adding to the chaos in the cockpit. They believed they had cleared the mountain range when in reality they were flying directly towards a hidden peak. The treacherous terrain of the Andes with its jagged peaks and deep valleys was a formidable adversary. The pilot's misjudgment would soon lead to catastrophic consequences. With a deafening roar, the aircraft slammed into the mountainside. The impact was sudden and brutal, tearing the plane apart in an instant. The sound of metal crunching and the screams of passengers filled the air. The impact ripped the plane apart, scattering debris and bodies across the snow-covered slope. The once serene landscape was now a scene of devastation, with pieces of the aircraft strewn across the mountainside. The fuselage, miraculously intact, skidded to a halt on a glacier, becoming both a tomb and a refuge for those who survived the initial crash. The survivors, dazed and injured, huddled together for warmth, their ordeal just beginning. The harsh reality of their situation set in as they realized they were stranded in one of the most remote and unforgiving places on Earth. Section 6. The Grim Reality of Survival. In the immediate aftermath of the crash, chaos and confusion reigned. The survivors, many of them seriously injured, stumbled out of the wreckage into a world of blinding white. The air was thin and bitterly cold, piercing their lungs with each breath. The once familiar world had transformed into a hostile, unforgiving wasteland. As the initial shock subsided, the survivors took stock of their desperate situation. They were stranded on a remote mountainside, miles from civilization, with dwindling supplies and no way to contact the outside world. Section 7. The Desperate Pact. As days turned into nights, the survivors faced the grim reality of their dwindling food supplies. The meager rations they had salvaged from the wreckage were quickly consumed. Hunger gnawed at their bellies, weakening their bodies already ravaged by the cold and their injuries. Faced with the agonizing choice between starvation and an unthinkable alternative, the survivors made a decision that would forever haunt their dreams. They agreed to consume the bodies of their deceased companions, a desperate pact born out of the will to survive. As days turned into weeks, hope began to dwindle. The survivors, their bodies ravaged by hunger and the elements, clung to life, their spirits sustained by the faintest glimmer of rescue. Nando Parrado, driven by an unwavering belief that they would be found, proposed a daring plan. Along with Roberto Canessa and Antonio Vizintin, he would embark on a perilous journey across the treacherous mountain range. Their goal was to find a way out of the mountains and alert the authorities to their plight. For 10 grueling days, Parrado, Canessa, and Vizintin battled exhaustion, hunger, and the unforgiving terrain. Their journey tested the limits of human endurance, but their determination never wavered. Finally, on December 22, 1972, after what seemed like an eternity, they stumbled upon a Chilean shepherd. Their ordeal was finally over. The shepherd, Sergio Catalan, alerted the authorities, and a rescue mission was swiftly launched. Helicopters descended upon the crash site, carrying with them the promise of salvation for the 16 survivors who had endured 72 agonizing days on the mountain. The rescue of the survivors of Uruguayan Air Force Flight 571 captivated the world. Their story of survival against unimaginable odds became a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. Yet the joy of their return was forever shadowed by the memory of those who had perished on the mountain. The survivors carried with them the weight of their experience, forever marked by the ordeal they had endured. The crash and its aftermath left an indelible mark on their lives, a reminder of the fragility of life and the enduring power of hope. The tragedy of Uruguayan Air Force Flight 571 sent shockwaves throughout the aviation world. The investigation into the crash highlighted the importance of improved flight navigation and communication systems in mountainous terrain. It also underscored the need for enhanced survival training for pilots and crew members. The lessons learned from this disaster led to significant safety improvements in the aviation industry, ensuring that future generations would benefit from the sacrifices made by those aboard Flight 571.